said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Hi, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me. So, in less than 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you 4 solutions that you can implement in your business if you're wanting to grow your business using a remote team. But please like and share this video if you get value from it. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, just drop a heart in there. Really appreciate y'all's support. So I'm Dr. P. I'm a strategic business coach, and I've been a school psychologist for about 10 years in K-12 schools in the U.S. I've served on professional organization committees, and I've been a part-time faculty for online graduate psychology courses at the master's level. And I love bringing my experiences in education, psychology, leadership, and organizational development to you to give you those solutions that you need so you can start taking actions and get those results that you want. So like Henry Ford said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And that working together is really important when you're looking at working within a team, when you're looking at building teams, right? And let's be honest, it can be difficult to build teams. It really is. But it's not impossible. It's difficult, but not impossible. And trust me, I've experienced that. I've been on organizations wherein, new to the committee and needed to build a team, and you got to get the word out there to really recruit the people that you need to be on the team, and not just need to be on the team, those who are going to actually stay committed. Because in professional organizations, we're not being paid. So you're coming on this committee to really bring something to the committee and stay committed to it because you understand the vision and the mission for why that committee was created, right? And let me tell you, there have been so many people who started on the committees and they started really strong, and then they kind of tapered off for whatever reason, right? And then outside of professional organizations, I've worked within schools where we had committees that were formed because there was a specific problem that the committee needed to address. So then we had to find team members who wanted to be a part of that committee, part of that team, to really put together the solution that needed to be implemented, kind of like working on the how for that issue that we were facing. And you had to identify certain people. Sometimes there were instances where people had to kind of submit like a application of sorts to be a member of that team. Other times we were picking people based on the strengths that they were bringing to the table, because once we can pull together their strengths, it was going to be beneficial for the team, right? So there are different ways in which you can look at recruiting team members. And also, as a special education administrator, having to be on that part of that side of the table wherein you have to recruit the team from the ground up, right? So you are looking at the entire recruiting process, the selection process, that hiring process, going through the entire onboarding. So you really have to know what you're looking for your team. Because if you're going to be putting an ad out there of any kind, you have to know what you are looking for. You have to know who you are going to be recruiting for your team. What are those specific positions that you're looking to fill, and who do you want to fill those? So that's why I really wanted to talk about the teams, recruiting team members, because it doesn't matter if you are brick and mortar. It does not matter if you are face to face. The thing is that when you're looking at building a team, there are certain elements that you have to include so that you can have an effective team. Just gonna go here and plug in this laptop. Almost died on me. So there are certain elements that you need, right? Again, it doesn't matter if you're a physical location or you're doing a remote team. There are certain things that you need to have in place so you can have an effective and efficient team. So I want to share 4 things with you that you can implement, give you some 4 solutions that you can implement so that you can build and grow a successful team so that your business can also be successful. Because here's the thing, once you put those building blocks in place from the get-go, and I mean from the time you look at hiring just one person, right? When you put those building blocks in place from that get-go, you're setting up yourself for success. Because if you are an entrepreneur who wants to be working as a solopreneur for now, but you have a vision and a mission of bringing more people on board so that you can expand your business, or you want to be a small business with like 10 employees, more than 10 employees. The point of the matter is this: you got to start somewhere. And wherever you're starting, all it takes is just that one person that you're going to be adding to your team. That's not going to change the dynamic. It's going to go from just being you to you and one other person, then to you and 5 other people, then one day maybe to you and 20, 30, 40, maybe even 100 people. I don't know your vision you have for your business. All I'm saying is that if you are thinking that you want to bring other team members on board, I highly recommend that you start with a very solid foundation for your business, so that way you can always build up and continue to have an effective team, right? So here are the 4 things I want to share with you. Have clear job responsibilities and expectations. Have clear measures for accountability. Be a coach to your team members. And provide some opportunities to learn for your team members to learn and grow within your business. Those are 4 simple, easy to implement things to help you build and grow a successful team. And I know some of you might be saying, but those are the same things that you need if it's a brick and mortar physical location team. Hey, that's true, because at the end of the day, a team is a team. It could be remote or it could be physical brick and mortar location, but there's some elements that are present for effective teams regardless of where the team members are located. So I'm going to tackle each one of them separately, just to kind of give you a breakdown and some more information of what each one of these 4 solutions can bring for your business. So the first one is providing clear job responsibilities and expectations. And again, it doesn't matter, brick and mortar or remote, you want to make sure you're providing your team members with clear responsibilities and expectations. And you should start this from the recruiting phase, because as you're recruiting for team members, be sure to have a job description for the position that you're actually hiring for. And I mean actually hiring for. And in order to know what that looks like, you got to do some research on your end. You have to go out there and do some research. See what other similar job titles are out there, what they have listed as job responsibilities and expectations. And the thing is, if you are a member of a peer advisory board, utilize the insights from the other team members in your peer advisory board, because they're founders just like you, they're CEOs of businesses just like you. So why not utilize their insights, right? Because they're part of your peer advisory board. That's a great way for you to get some additional insight into specific jobs, like job titles that you want to be adding to your team, and get an idea of those expectations and responsibilities that you want to be able to convey to the team members that you're bringing on board. Because once you're going through that hiring process, you have to have clear expectations and reasonable expectations, and then convey those to the team members. And something that I learned is you share those expectations, you share those job responsibilities with the entire team. Don't let a job description be a secret. Let other team members be aware of what each person is expected to bring to the table for the team. Why? Because that can save you a lot of heartache and frustration later down the road once you are building up this transparency with your team members, right? And make sure to have information easily accessible. So again, make sure to have clear expectations and responsibilities for your team members. Then the other one is having that clear measures for accountability, right? So with the accountability, be sure to share with your team members what accountability looks like for you. Do not keep it in your head, because guess what? People don't know what's in your head because it's in your head. You have to share it with others. No, when I'm talking accountability, I'm not talking about putting something in place where you're tracking every single minute of the day for your remote employees. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is have and identify how you will be measuring outcomes for your team members. Because remember, your team members are on board because they're bringing certain skill sets to the table, which means you are assigning certain tasks for them to complete. So with those tasks should come some outcomes. So identify what those outcomes are supposed to be. Don't let it be a secret. Identify them from the beginning so that you and the team members are fully aware of what measure you're going to be looking at to hold them accountable for what they're supposed to be doing in the organization. But remember though, don't be a micromanager. That's not what this is about. This is about making sure people know what the outcome is, what they're supposed to be doing, what you're going to be looking for, not micromanaging, right? So that's the second one. The third one is be a coach to your team. And with that, you're providing the training and support that your team members need to grow within your business. And as the coach, right, you are identifying the strengths that each team member is bringing, and then you're going to leverage those strengths to keep them engaged and grow your business simultaneously. Because you know what? Communication is the key. And that's not just the key when you're working with remote employees, but in any type of relationship that you have, communication is the key. But we're talking about remote employees, right? So when you have remote team members, you want to make sure that you're engaging in frequent communication where you're providing meaningful feedback. And again, not talking about communicating like a micromanager. Don't do that. And that type of communication is, you're set that one-sided communication where you're always sending emails and having phone calls and, sending messages through Google Meet and through Microsoft Teams, whatever is your messaging system, constantly asking them for updates. No, that's not what I'm talking about when I say frequent communication. What I'm talking about is you set clear expectations, you share those expectations, and you communicate those expectations with your team members. And while you are engaging in that communication with your team members, you should also be finding out if there are any resources by chance that they might think they're lacking that could be stopping them from actually completing the task that you have assigned to them to do for your business. And make some time for some small talk, because again, these employees are remote. They're not in a building, so it's not as though you run into them in the hallway or in the parking lot and you could strike a quick conversation with them. They're remote, so make some time for some small talk with your employees. And when you're having that one-on-one, with your team members, when you're having that one-on-one, have longer one-on-ones. Don't rush it. Build connections with them and have on your video as much as you possibly can. Because again, you're not sharing the same physical space. You're not. So it is different when you're working remotely. So more visual interactions can help people to feel by far more connected than just an over the phone. Plus, they get to see you. They get to learn your mannerisms. Like for me, for instance, I move my hands a lot. And they get to actually see your facial expressions. And I know it can be a little tricky, because sometimes our internet decides to stick at the worst times. But the thing is that it is still a good way to really communicate with others. So make sure to have that communication going with your remote employees. So the fourth one is provide some opportunities for your team members to learn and grow. Just like continuous learning is important for you and for me as entrepreneurs, continuous development is important for your team members, right? It is, because through those experiences, we learn more information so that we can get better at doing the things that we do, at strengthening our strengths that we're bringing to the table, and to be even more effective, right? And for some, they might want to engage in some continuous education so that they could learn something new. It could be just something that they're struggling with a little bit. They need a different approach to solving that problem. So that's where they can also gain some access to some learning to help them to overcome some obstacles that they're currently experiencing. And it helps them to grow within their position within your team and to be even more effective, right? Then, once you allow the team member to pursue that source of learning, to gain that learning, here's the thing. Give them the opportunity to actually use it. Because something I saw throughout my years of being in the school system is I saw people would go to trainings, but then they never came back and implemented it for whatever reason. And that was a loss waste. That was a lost use of knowledge, right? Because they go to the training, they didn't get they got what they were wanted to get from the training, but then they never got the opportunity to implement it when they got back. So with your team members, you allow them to go to trainings, allow them to also implement what they learn. Because here's the thing, if they implement what they learn, they're getting better at doing their job, which can in turn translate into your business growing, not just in visibility, but in terms of revenue. That's something to consider. You help them to grow, they help you to grow as well. Your team members are just like you. They got dreams, they got aspirations, they have goals. Why not help them achieve those goals and aspirations? Because it ends up helping you as well. So let's recap on those 4 things that you can use to give you those solutions to have an effective remote team. First is provide some clear job responsibilities and expectations. The second one is provide clear measures of accountability. The third is be a coach to your team members. And fourth, offer some opportunities for your team members to learn and grow within your business. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, solutions plus actions equals results. Bye, y'all.